swing. Now, as we mentioned a little bit earlier on, both teams have undergone those permanent roster changes this week, as N-Rated, of course, was taken out of the team. Yellow Star took his support role, and Pushu was brought in as the AD carry. On the other side, you've got the Lemondogs, who have also had that duo lane change with We Will Failure dropping from the team to make room for Miffy. Now, both teams have already recorded a win here today, but how much of the roster changes, how much are they going to make an impact on this game? Because it's both teams that have had them, is that going to bring a little more uncertainty into this match?
I think if anything, it gives them a little bit of an edge in terms of not knowing exactly how they're going to play in the bottom lane, because it's always one of those things where AD carries now in Season 3 are like the go-to guy late game, where if you can't kill them, if you can't attack them and they get free damage onto you, they're going to win the fight pretty much. So we're going to see how it's really going to end up. But we saw, back in the spring split with Dragonborns how it ended up for them, when we saw Maluno actually get replaced by Dexter, and then we had Umana Cannon go in the top lane for Spontex. Didn't work out well for them. Flip side of that coin, look at NIP, look at Fnatic, look at Lemondogs. Been working out so well for them. The odds are in the favor of that, but we'll see if that's going to continue.
Well, Lemondogs, of course, have focused a lot more around those late game compositions in their recent games as well. We should never forget that.
Yeah, and we have to look at it as actually, I was mentioning with Demon earlier, saying that they talked to us when we were upstairs, and they were mentioning how they don't play the same way anymore. They play a lot more early game oriented, and we weren't sure if that was actually a troll or not. But as we saw in their game earlier on today, it wasn't. They played phenomenally well very early on, and we're going to see if that's going to continue, because that was, to me, like, them and Mutual Makers are in the same boat in terms of people know what they're going to do. Mutual Makers, they need to control the early game. If you can stop that, you're going to win. But same with Lemondogs, and with the change-up in playstyle, you really catch teams off guard.
And for me, I think a switch out in the bottom lane is maybe less of a change when it comes to an overall team's game plan. Because, your support and your AD carry, it's obvious what they're going to do at the start, which is go up probably in that head-to-head, if not in a 1 versus 2. But the aim of the game for them is to farm a lot. I mean, a change to a mid lane player, to a jungler, in my opinion, and a top laner, a lot more impactful on how a team's overall strategy might change.
And one thing that I love particularly with Fnatic, the whole change, is that Yellowstar was an AD carry player. He's now playing support, so he knows exactly what the AD carry wants to do. Like, he's pretty much reading the guy's mind, and he can pretty much help that out, help facilitate that, and that gives you such a huge advantage in lane, I have to say. But we're going to find out if they can continue. They looked very good early on. Yellowstar had some really good crescendos on that Sona, and we're going to see if Pushu can really kind of show everyone that he earned the spot. He deserves to be here. He's a high-tier challenger solo queue player. And obviously, he played very well earlier on.
Well, let's have a little bit of a look back on last week, because Lemondogs managed to beat Fnatic. We saw Fizz coming out for Nuke Duck in there, and it was a little bit too much to handle for them.
Yeah, and that actually makes me wonder if that was going back to discussions with N-Rated. Maybe there was a little bit of turmoil in the team, maybe not. But yeah, his Fizz was unstoppable in that game. His Zed earlier was the same boat. I mean, he could one-shot Yellow P at the time. Like, they need to shut him down a little bit. And Expeke, he's kind of really the man to do it.
Well, certainly an interesting game coming up here. As we said, both teams have undergone roster changes. Really the big story of, I guess, this week and last week as well are those roster changes pretty much across the board, or not, as it is the case for some teams. I mean, Gambit, they had that, I guess we can call it a substitution change where Darian wasn't playing, but we saw them earlier on and exactly how they came flying out against Alternate. They absolutely smashed Alternate into the ground.
And the thing is that, it's all about roster changes right now in the season. We're about halfway through it. But the thing is, you're doing it kind of right before the World Finals. They have a lot of work to do in terms of synergy, getting your late game compositions to work out well together. But with something like that on the line, you have to feel very confident, or like it was very needed to make your team better.
So we are going to get then into Champion Select here. All the players are ready to get things underway with this one. And I can tell you right now, the first ban's actually coming out into this one. Elise going to be taken out towards Soaz. We saw him earlier on. He's now 3 for 4 games with that Elise. And as I always harp on about, because it's such an impressive stat, he was unbeaten in the spring split with Elise as well. Lemondogs don't want any of that. They've taken out Malphite, which is interesting because 0-0, although he's not really put the win ratio there with Malphite, he's played a lot of games with him already.
Yeah, Malphite in general has a very low win ratio, but we've seen Expeke play it back in, I believe it was week number 1. Yeah, it was at DreamHack. It worked out well for him in one game, didn't work out well from the other game, but that leads me to believe that they have a certain composition they really want to run. But over on Fnatic's side, the Lissandra, 0-0, his Lissandra was perfect. I mean, it was spot on exactly what you needed out of Lissandra.
It was ice cold, you could say.
It's ice cold, and obviously don't want to play against that this time.
No, Evelyn taken out here as well. They're a little bit worried about Dexter having that one in the jungle. He has already proven to us that he can run that Eve and to devastate. In fact, Nunu taken out. Cyanide, a fantastic new player, and the fact is that Nunu is very, very strong right now. Zed was the final ban from Fnatic. They don't want Nuke Duck having any of that. But that left Twisted Fate open, and Lemondogs have locked it straight in.
Okay, so we're going to see how strong Nuke Duck is on Twisted Fate, but to me, it's, in terms of going back to the bans real quick, when Dexter picked Lee Sin earlier today, I was actually really surprised to see that because it doesn't seem like his type of jungler. He wasn't that effective early on, which we've seen, Arnair really be, so I'm curious to see what he's actually going to go for the same thing this time. Change my talking mid-sentence.
Well, you kind of got it there. It was all right. Shen and Jarvan, of course, were two champions left open, which Fnatic are going to snap up straight away. Jarvan is a big one for Cyanide. Played him 5 times so far in the jungle. Picked up his second win of the summer split earlier on with him. Very solid. Loves to steal things with that Jarvan as well. Shen is
Wow.
Shen. Shen is Shen. I'm going to have to speed things up here because we're speeding through. That Lee Sin and a Varus pick up for Lemondogs.
So we're going to see the control out of the Varus ultimate, but I was wowing really loud at that Thresh was let through and was let this far into the whole picking order. That really surprised me.
So We Will Fail played a lot of Thresh, but can Mithy play him? To me, it maybe says no because Fnatic had already locked in the jungler here and they went for that Lee Sin. So it obviously tells me that the Thresh wasn't that high up on the pick priority. How good is Yellow Star is another question that we've got to have answered here. Pushu's going to have Caitlyn this time around.
It looks like, okay, so put you on Caitlyn. It's a very easy AD carry to play. I mean, you're guaranteed to farm really well. Obviously,
no one told me that.
No one told you that? You should try her out. She's really fun. But she's really hard to counter in lane, pretty much. She's really good counter to Draven, but with a Thresh, so they're going to be a little bit aggressive, but it's like guaranteed farm. I mean, I remember Yellow Star back at Intel Extreme Masters Katowice, where it was against SK, and he was playing Caitlyn, he was behind, Fnatic was looking out of it, but he just kept farming, and you could not stop him in the end of the game. And it looks like Lemondogs might try to go with Mithy on Fiddlesticks again, which, I don't know about your opinion, but he didn't really do that well on him. It wasn't bad, but he did have, I think, the only death of his team, and he kind of got caught a little bit, and he didn't even ult until like halfway, or 3/4 of the way through the game.
And I think Fiddlesticks is a support player that's not instantly obvious to when he does well, because he's not got that hook, the kind of clutch skills that you see, the crescendo from Sona, something that really sticks in your mind. His kit's fantastic, with the fear, with the mass silence in there, with his ultimate, even without any AP, is an absolute terror in terms of damage. So we'll see how that one works around this time for Mithy. Of course, they recorded a victory earlier on. They've picked up Rise as well here.
Okay, and the Rise could be really hard to deal with top lane. You're against a Shen, so if he builds a little bit of magic as this, should be fine pretty much overall, but I really wish I had the numbers on this, but with Fnatic's lineup, they have basically 2 tanks, one in the top lane, one in the jungle, and they're depending on the Kassadin and Caitlyn to carry. And I'm pretty sure that having like a damage dealer tank hybrid in the top lane, and then you're obviously regular middle, regular AD carry, you typically win more games, because if we fall behind with a composition like this with Fnatic, it's really hard to get back in it in terms of damage, where if Expect gets shut down, which I'm assuming they're going to send a 2v1 against some middle, he's gonna have a really hard time getting the kills, but it's a Kassadin. You can snowball really quickly.
Well, the good thing for Lemondogs is as well that they've got that interchangeability between Twisted Fate and Rise. Obviously, both AP-based champions that they could end up sending that Rise against Kassadin and say, you jump at me, and then you're stuck in position straight away. But we'll have to see about that one here. 2 strong teams coming out from, and some picks that we were maybe not quite expecting down the line, but both of them with these roster changes, and one thing that we can be sure about is that they've both looked a little bit reinvigorated here, and that's something that can happen with these roster changes. The whole, we are new, we are feeling fresh with this team coming out here, and it seems to be working out so far, but now neither of these teams can go undefeated today with those new roster changes.
That is true, so someone will finally lose, but it also brings in like a new energy to the team, I have to say. But I'm curious though with Pushu in particular, because Harry said it earlier, the manager of Fnatic, that once Reckless is 17, he will be joining the team. So it's like, you're playing, but you're limited on time. So for me, it's like he needs to show other teams that he, maybe you should pick him up because he's a really strong AD carry player. So he might actually be very aggressive, try to make some really strong plays.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about his whole position. Me and Devin talked a little bit about this earlier, that, it's a hard situation to be in because you're almost You know, you're almost like Spontex was for Darien and like White Knight is for Frelnlord, in that you've only got a bit of a limited time frame. Of course, his is bigger here. It's not just a 1 week to the next change coming out. But still, he's got some big shoes to fill in Yellow Stars, who himself has got N-rated shoes to fill. They've been swapping shoes all over the place in that Fnatic house. But we are going to get into game then. It's Lemondogs versus Fnatic. Lemondogs here on the blue side, Fnatic, of course, on the red. At level 1, there's some interesting stuff that can come out, just for the fact that if you look at Fnatic, I think in particular here, with the whole hook, with Jarvan being able to spot quite a lot, with Shen able to get in there for the taunt, I think Lemondogs need to be a little bit wary. But on their side, you know, they've got a stun card, they've got Ryze that can lock down, they've got Fiddlesticks that can be a bit annoying here as well.
Exactly, he's the key thing, because you have your silence that can completely shut down the enemy team. We're going to see actually a fight happen.
Hook landing here on towards Zoro. He's been burst down. First blood coming in here for Yellow Star, and he's going to keep going with this one. Can they lock anyone else down? Nukeduck trying desperately to pull out that gold card, which he will manage to do. Cooldown's going to be up here, and Yellow Star couldn't quite get off another hook in that, but one's enough to be frank. He picks up the first blood, just showing that earlier on when he picked up the kills, he's still feeling like he deserves them.
He's the new Edward. He's the new support carry. Or carry support, whatever it is. And I was trying to say right before the fight broke out was that Mithy on Fiddlesticks, like the silence you have, NAP got the gist of it when they played back in Moscow against them, where the silence will just shut you down completely if your team sticks together, but it didn't matter in the end. Fnatic was able to burst them down, just like you said, with Soaz taking that taunt at level 1, he was not going to escape, and with that early kill, I believe Yoster actually didn't even pick anything special up. Actually, no, he picked a Ruby Crystal up. That is bad. That is really hard. That means you could not kill him pretty much at all in lane.
Yeah, and if you look at the start as well here for Xpeke, I mean, Soaz on Shen, Doran's shield, a little bit more normal than a Kassadin coming out there with that Doran's shield, which means that he's going to be a lot harder to be dealing damage to. We can see the start here in terms of the junglers, but the most interesting thing is probably the lane switches that we've got going on. As you predicted earlier on, a 2v1 against Kassadin to try and deal and shut him down as early as possible. We're going to have Shen versus Ryze bottom and Twisted Fate versus Caitlyn Thresh in the top lane.
So I'm not too sure if Nukeduck actually expected to be top lane against this combo. I mean, the items don't really show that he's necessarily for that, but he's going to have the extra movement speed. We do have Yellowstar coming down. He's going to spot Dexter at blue.
And he's just an annoyance now because of that Ruby Crystal coming in as well. You're not really going to be able to lock him down if you're just one man. However, Twisted Fate is coming in. We've got Mithy from the side here, and Yellow Star just going to saunter on back up, holding his lantern like a boss, and puts a ward down on his way out.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about something as the game goes on. When we get to team fights, when I was mentioning having a tank in the tank in a solo lane and a tank in the jungle, is that when you have a Kassadin against a Fiddlesticks, I mean, he can silence you, he can fear you. If you're not careful in how you engage, you can just be killed instantly because you're not going to be able to move. I want to see how well Xpeke actually works around this.
So the switch that we've got here, Xpeke obviously going to be in that 1v2. It's going to leave Twisted Fate in a 1v2 lane as well, but you know, those wild cards and the red cards that he has as well combined give him decent lane clear, even in this, you know, bit of a precarious lane setup.
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem Xpeke is going to have, is he can't wave clear, and last hit under turret's going to be very hard for him to do against a Fiddlesticks, not to mention a Varus who can just piercing arrow you from a long way away. But Dexter, he's trying to make a play down here, and he might be able to make it happen.
Oh, they managed to actually get in there with the taunt, but we did see Dexter coming around the side. Cyanide becomes the focus of the damage as Dexter starts to back away, and it was Zoro who got the lowest out of all of them, but with 4 men there, not really going to be ending up in a kill, as we do have a slight pause here.
Mithy, come on! We expected, you know, Nukeduck to have an easier time farming top, but right now Xpeke is the one doing it.
Xpeke here, putting down damage as he goes as well. Yeah, he's level 4 right now, which means he's actually got pretty decent power when it comes to that. I mean, you're going to be seeing Tabs using quite a lot of spells, and that's what he's going to get for his E, you know? When you've got those spells going off around him constantly, it means that he's automatically able to put out more with his E.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm curious to see if he's actually leveling it up. I'm pretty sure he's not. Actually, he is leveling it up. So to help with the wave clear a little bit more, his Force Pulse is going to definitely aid that. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Sana come on for a gank, because Mithy, because he actually went to help out Dexter on the blue buff, he actually is behind in levels. So it's a very easy gank. So unfortunately, does miss that taunt right there. But Zoro will be returning with that tier. And obviously, over time, he's going to be even stronger.
Well, now we do see Dexter coming up in towards this top lane. See if he can alleviate any of the pressure that Nukeduck's got. And look at that, that's one of the annoyances of a Thresh Caitlyn, or just a Caitlyn lane as well, with anyone like Nami who can have an easy skill shot basically once you stun yourselves by accident or by whatever reason on top of those Caitlyn traps.
That's what's really, yeah, exactly. That is so dangerous, is that if you send him one, you're probably gonna get pulled and probably killed. So actually, as you see right there, or here at least, Dexter will be eating both of those just so he can escape. And I mean, obviously, Caitlyn can put some more down, but it's a lot of mana to invest in that.
Well, let's have a look at the CS here early on, because it's going to be an interesting factor, as we are going to see a hook coming in. Not quite got the range on towards Nukeduck. But the interesting one, 26-20 in terms of Shen and Ryze. They're pretty even stuff. Mid lane, or what we can call the mid laners there, is even at 19 apiece. The AD carries are almost even as well, just a couple of CS between them. But now Cyanide is hanging around in this middle lane. This is where it becomes dangerous. XPK not quite hit level 6, so doesn't have that Rift Walk, but with this wave, he might be able to get there.
Oh, here we go, the engage coming out of Cyanide.
Miffy already in a lot of trouble from this one. Peke's still not hit level 6 though, so won't be able to follow up with the damage from that one. That was a little bit unfortunate in the timing. Dexter actually got really low there in the top lane. Not 100% sure what actually happened up there, but either way, it's good for Fnatic.
And I really wonder if Sana just waited a little bit longer, if XPK would have hit 6, because that most likely would have been a kill. As Mithy is very squishy. I mean, he's Fiddlesticks, kind of slow. Doesn't have
Squishy. Sorry.
He doesn't have his flash available anymore, or his exhaust. So XPK, he actually could probably kill Mithy in this 1v2 if the situation's right.
Yeah, those summoners down definitely could turn out to be a big deal. Bit of a disclaimer there, depending on what Cyanide's plans are in these next few moments. Right now, it looks like he's going to go for a bit of an attack down towards Zoro Zero in the bottom lane, who is up to level 6. Shen should be getting there pretty soon as well, as we see Dexter visiting that middle lane. And now Cyanide coming around for a bit of a time here. There is a ward, so they know that Cyanide did start to come around from there, and in the end he just has to make sure that he backs up that turret. Key point here, just as the turret goes down, Soaz is now level 6, so Stan United is available.
And also, XPK has teleport. He hasn't used it just yet, but he could be around the map, or back in his own lane right there, as you see, very quickly. He's actually going to go in on Dexter. He does get the silence, but I don't think they can kill him.
Especially if the knockup doesn't hit like that on Cyanide. Being dodged away from there by Dexter. Good play from him to expect that one coming in. And that will leave us with no kills there. Just that first blood from earlier on, which Yellow Star secured, I think is the right word.
Yeah, I think you go with the same word as well. But, you know, like you mentioned, we're at that level 6 point, so we have the mobility, the global presence of the Twisted Fate. Well, you know, I say global presence, but it's not really global if you're stuck in top lane. The thing is, he just back, he's gonna buy here, and actually he's level 6, so he might go for a gank really soon, either middle or bottom, since they don't really know where he is yet.
Well, let's see about that one. He is looking to be headed top side once again, and if you look at the minimap, there's not much on the middle or top side of the map that really presents itself as Twisted Fateable. I think we're going to call it now. I'm inventing all kinds of words today. It's a fantastic day to work for the Oxford Dictionary, because you're probably cringing at the words that I can come out with sometimes. He's going to be getting the blue buff here, though, thanks to Dexter. And we'll see where Nukeduck goes with that. Looks like he's going to set himself up in the middle lane now that that tower's gone down.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Fnatic, because they got the first turret, so they forced it basically themselves, which means they have a plan. Like, they want to keep this pressure on. Don't let Twisted Fate keep farming up, as he's down quite a bit of CS at this point. But a 4-man push out of Lemondogs here on this middle turret. And that fear, wow.
Yeah, there's the fear coming in. Chain of Corruption actually missed there, and we are going to see Shen getting involved. Can he land the ton? He does get the ton onto 2 of them, and that will be actually onto 3 of them in the end. There's the ace in the hole from the side, which lands onto Nukeduck, but that's what XPK was waiting for. He was waiting for the team to collaborate with him and to get them in onto 1 man. That time turns out to be Dexter, of all people, that they managed to catch, but XPK will be thankful for that extra gold coming in. And they've started Dragon.
Actually not going to be spotted here, so they should be able to pick it up, though. It looks like Mithy will come down. Twisted Fate ultimate comes in, but it's not really going for a kill as you do the flash hook!
That was a brilliant hook, and now Twisted Fate going to get involved, but they're not going to be able to save Mithy. Yellow Star might die. He will die in the end to Ryze. Are they going to keep going? Pusu is going to walk himself away. XPK will Rift Walk just as the gold card actually landed onto him, and now they're going in again. Zoro Zero gets taunted up. Peke will get his 2nd kill. Can they chase him for any more here? It's going to be about Cyanide landing something or Soaz landing a taunt. Pushu actually, well, I thought Dexter was trying to get him towards Pushu there at the back. Cyanide body blocking him nicely. And that was another crazy encounter. Fnatic go up to 4-1.
And importantly, Xpeke up to 2 kills. So we talked about earlier how easy that casting can snowball, how fast the casting can snowball. He's going to be able to do it here. And Sunny will go protect that turret. And I have to apologize for that very girly scream, but I was that excited about the pool.
It's been missing for a while, Jason. We've all missed it, that's for sure. But this turret's not going to stay alive. Lemondogs are going to take down the first outer inner turret. That would be a turn up for the Bucks. Outer middle turret is what I'm trying to say. And that's always a big pickup for them. We can see the wards going down here. That Dragon, of course, wasn't done in the attempt by Fnatic. So Lemondogs are going to be going for this one. We've got 3 men from Fnatic waiting off in the wings. Will Soaz's presence be enough to force them away from this? Dexter has the smite available. Cyanide has the smite available. But is he going to be able to get in for this one? And here comes Fiddlesticks, and Cyanide going very, very low. He's going to go down to Rise in the end. They picked up the Dragon here, Lemondogs, and that's a big win for them. Yellow Star in the middle of nowhere, really. Lee Sin going to land the Q. Dexter follows through. He's a dead man, though. Caitlyn sniping him off with a Piltover Peacemaker.
That was a great taunt at Soaz right there to pick up Dexter. Unfortunately, a little bit too late, but just like you mentioned, getting 1 kill, getting Dragon off of that, phenomenal job. Actually, sorry, 2 kills in the end. Great job by Lemondogs, gives him a really hefty gold closing 15 tide. Anyways, I was going over with that one, but Fnatic gonna respawn, go for a Dragon here. And Mithy, that was actually that was a great ultimate out of him.
Oh, Tab's getting silenced up here, gets taunted up as well. Ace in the hole coming through, that'll burst the barrier. And Pushu actually managing to land the Piltover Peacemaker again to secure himself his 3rd kill of the game. That turret is going to go down. So despite the fact that they got that Dragon and a couple of kills with it, Fnatic used that positional advantage to sweep straight around.
Yes, that really didn't matter in the end. Fnatic's happy with that trade probably any day because now their carries are really fed. And we talked about it earlier in the Champion Select. You need them to be fed. If they get behind, they're going to have a really tough time keeping up in damage, but look how far ahead they are. And that means they have the tankiness they need to dive, they have the damage they need to dive, and they might dive.
They may well just dive with everything that they've got going on there. Catalyst and the T are now in there for Xpeke's Kassadin. And if you look on the other side, Cage's lucky pick, which now is part of a normal Twisted Fate build, that extra gold that, you know, if you combine that with his passive as well, I suppose, always going to help out as Xpeke going to portal in here, and Mythy caught all kinds of out of position, and he is a dead man. Or is he? He fears up Xpeke, but you've got a Rift Walk. You can get right on top of his head again. And yeah, that's another nice catch out for Fnatic that's going to bring Xpeke now to 3-0-3. And we said it, it's probably the last man they want to be letting get the kills at this stage of the game.
And it's just going to keep growing because he's tied in CS to his counterpart. He's actually not even that far ahead to the leader right now, which is Puzo. But I'm just... Soaz on his Shen, like his taunts have been ridiculous. Like forget his Elise, his Shen has been phenomenal so far.
And that's it. I mean, he's such... we talk about the likes of the hooks and different champions that can throw stuff like that, but the 10 taunts, or the Shen taunts, can be even more vital when it comes to those scenarios. Here we see Yellow Star in a little bit of trouble. Twisted Fate coming down. Yellow Star gonna be stunned up here. He is gonna go down, but Shen coming in now. Misses the taunt this time around. Will that allow Nudum to get away? Yes, it will. Shielded up by Dexter, and they take down Pushu as well. Fantastic play out of the Lemondogs.
And just as we're praising Soaz about the taunt, he misses one. And I was actually really curious, well, I know why he ulted onto Caitlyn, but they killed Yellow Star first instead. Xpeke's heading down, Cyanide's heading down, and Lemondogs, they easily could get turned around. Like, Fnatic could pick up some kills here if they land the taunt.
Well, right now that minion wave, the first target to be wiped out before they think about going for anyone else, but you see there, Fear's coming out on towards Soaz to stop him running forward. And that will be Lemondogs securing this lane, but can they get the finisher? Smite even used there by Dexter to take away the siege minion. And in the end, they decide to back off. Enough's enough for them now. We're bang even on gold, 13 minutes, 50 in.
I not expect that. With all the actions happening, I thought it would be definitely one-sided here, but Lemondogs are giving Fnatic a run for their money, and they both are showing that we don't want to be the only team with a loss with our roster changes. I expect it should be able to get blue here. The gold he has, he doesn't have really anything yet to buy up in terms of damage items, but he went for early Merc Treads, which is very smart. He doesn't want to get locked down with the fears, the silences, the stuns, and the snares, so he needs that mobility to get around to, you know, really get an assassinate zone, which he's eyeing tabs for that, or even Nuke Duck at this point.
As Dexter is going to help Nuke Duck up once again. Second blue buff in a row for the Twisted Fate. And he right now has added that blasting wand in to that earlier Cage's lucky pick, and we can see the Merc Treads done for him and for Lee Sin over on that side as well. Between the two AD carries, bit of a difference there. Look at that. Infinity Edge done for Caitlyn. only the BF sword. He's gone for the Berserker Greaves and a double Doran's Blade, though, has taps.
He only has 900 gold to spend, so that's not going to be coming around for him for a long time. And that's, I guess that's Fnatic's like key to, or a chance to just say, hey, let's fight. We out level them. We have better items. We can easily win in these head-on-head fights as long as Mithy, I have to say, doesn't get a perfect Fiddle ultimate, which he did last time at Dragon.
Yeah, that was certainly shredding them apart. Fnatic now push out this middle lane once again. They, of course, took that turret down just after that last Dragon, and big team fight went down outside of the Dragon Pit. Both teams seemingly slowing down somewhat by now. We've got Shen still in that bottom lane. He's up against both Varus and Fiddlesticks. You always have to be careful of that fear. That's, you know, it can lead you back to towards your own turret, and you
right.
could be safe, or can lead you in the opposite direction, and then all of a sudden you're in a lot more trouble.
Exactly. I've had that happen one too many times in the past. We do have an Aegis actually picked up for Soaz relatively early, but he's going to go for the Runic Bulwark, obviously, to really mitigate the damage Zoro and Nukta can do. Zoro, he had a really tough time early on. I mean, he was obviously first blooded. He's been ganked bottom lane, so he fell behind in CS, but he's caught up a little bit. He has his Rod of Aegis done now, so his damage is really going to start to spike up really soon. And if he mix that in with a little bit of tankiness, that means he's not going to get bursted down anytime soon.
So let's have a look down the CS here again, because he has changed a little bit. Specking out a good 15 CS in the lead. That leads to about 300 gold. Of course, he is 303 as well, which we should never underestimate in that. A 500 gold difference for Caitlyn over Varus, despite the fact that Tabs is slightly ahead on that front. But again, 3 kills coming down for Pushu's Caitlyn. In the top lane, Ryze is ahead. It's only 6. The 6 assists over with Shen. That difference is actually decently climbing as well here in favor of Ryze, who, as you said, does have that Rod of Aegis. We should also never really forget the advantage that a Twisted Fate can bring to your team as well with that extra gold.
Especially that says, oh, a nice taunt out of Soaz!
3-man taunt coming in, but have they got the damage to follow up? The boxes down. They managed to hook Nuke Duck into this one. Yellow Star gonna go in. There's a Cataclysm. It's caught 4 men here from Lemondogs. We see Yellow Star go down at first. Yeah, Cyanide is going low as well, and Dexter's right in on top of him, and it will be Dexter to pick up a kill before he goes down. Right now, it's a 2 for 2, but it's not over just yet. Nuke Duck, who got pulled in earlier on, manages to finish off Soaz, and that's a 3 for 2. The piercing arrow almost connecting there. And that will be another crazy fight down on this bottom side. I feel like I've said crazy fight one too many times today, but these games have been action-packed.
Definitely, and we have to give credit to Mithy right there. That ultimate out of him was perfect. It almost killed Pusho almost itself. Like, he almost just 1v1'd him in the entirety, or in the entire Fnatic team. That was definitely well placed, and the ultimate out of Cyanide as well, but no one was able to really capitalize off of that because they were stuck in the back trying to deal with Fiddlesticks, trying to deal with Tabs. And in the end, Lemondogs coming out ahead in that fight, but Gold still pretty much bang even. Only 500 difference 18 minutes in.
Close stuff here between Fnatic and the Lemondogs. You see there, a pink ward down from Lemondogs. Dragon is going to be started off by Fnatic. Lee Sin coming around the side. Dexter has his smite available as a piercing arrow goes through, just to warn Fnatic of the presence there as they go in on towards Mithy. Peke getting silenced up, but he's able to get away. They managed to lock Zoro down with a hook, but not enough damage to follow that one up, and it's going to be a delicate dance again for Dragon.
And Peke doesn't have too much damage just yet, even with that score, but that Rod of Aegis is going to be stacking up really soon. He's actually being spotted by quite a few wards here, and even Fnatic, they're very scared to go for this Dragon, as smart play to Lemondogs just awarded over that corner. And Lemondogs, we always talked about them, I mean, they've taken almost the most Dragons out of any team. I think they're third currently right now with like 24, but they are really hesitant to go for this one. They're actually going to start pushing middle and force Fnatic to react to them and deal with it, and to just come back and not do Dragon themselves.
Yeah, this is the counter to that Dragon dance for them. They decide to push out in towards this middle lane. Fnatic looking to get around the side of him. There's a taunt coming through. Mithy actually will flash that one, but he's going to be a dead man here. He got hooked up from that. Pushu will pick up that kill. Have they got the damage to finish on through? It's a little bit messy here. Dexter off to the side will get away via that ward, but look at Peke. He's flashed over the wall with that Rift Walk on cooldown. Can they keep going on this one? There's the taunt flash on towards Tabs. He's going to get away, but there's a Cataclysm coming out. But Cyanide is caught inside it. He gets a hit from on the turret, and it's another messy fight. Nuke gets dropped down. 4 men still up here. 4 Fnatic to the 3 of the Lemondogs. Yellow Star gets picked up just as he puts a box down, and Fnatic start to back away from this one, and another real messy encounter.
I thought you were going to say crazy there, but messy is probably the key word, definitely. It was a 2 for 2. Or sorry, it was a 2 for 1, and it was almost 2 for 2. Mithy did die early on that fight, but that just shows like Lemondogs, they just kept retreating, kept kiting as much as possible. They were tanking up to deal with the damage, or the lack of damage that xPeke could do, unfortunately for him. And now it's still xPeke, he didn't die, he's 4-0-6, and Pushu, 6-1-3.
And it's not over just yet. There's the flashing on towards xPeke. Is he going to be able to escape? Dexter actually backed away. You thought he got him in this one. There comes Shen in there as well, and that's going to be enough to keep xPeke alive. Amazing stuff from Soaz, and Dexter will be probably a little bit sad with that one. He probably realized he should have had that finishing blow.
And this Dragon's been baiting fights left and right. It looks like Lemondogs will back off yet again, and Fnatic, they might be able to pick up this time because they have pretty much 3 or 4 out of their 5 members there. They're healthy, but Nuke, he's sticking around. He wants to stop them. He wants to not let this happen. And if he keeps harassing like that, he might be able to, or not.
4 men from Fnatic. They are starting to back away from this one on the Lemondogs. And there's a snipe from the bottom side. Tab says we don't need to be there. A piercing arrow goes through, and after all that, it's the Lemondogs who aren't really in the vicinity of Dragon that pick it up. Crazy.
I think Tabs took some lessons from Created right there with Dragon still in foot. That was like the edge of his piercing arrow, and they had Smite there. And we've talked about Sana before when he played Nunu against Alternate at Moscow. He was just missing his Smites left and right, or Alternate was just outplaying the Smites and taking it from them every time. But that's not what we know Sana to be. Like to us, he's still like the best objective stealer with these Smites, and yet he's not able to lock down the ones that he should be able to.
Let's see another blue buff for Nuke. It's going to be helping him out along the way. Got that Lich Bane in there now finished. Tier 4 Kassadin starting to really stack up, no doubts. The Seal has come in for Caitlyn as well, but look over to the other side now, and how nice these last fights have been for Tabs with that Dragon Steal as well. Bloodthirst to finish, also got a Zeal of his own in there.
And what's lucky for him is he's not the focus of the fight right now. Like, he's not the one that's being bursted down, or I'd say bursted with air quotations because xPeke doesn't have the damage still just yet. But with that Bloodthirst, it's going to help him heal up a little bit more. And Nuke with the Merc Treads, with the Twin Shadows, he has a lot of magic resist to really survive. And then it's a rise. You're not going to kill him with Burst.
Yeah. Be able to survive that one with that Rod of Ages. There's a Aegis picked up as well for Lee Sin, so that's, I was going to say 1 apiece. However, the Runic Bulwark is already done over for Shen. That's a nice little item to have into the team. A Hex Drinker picked up this time around for Cyanide's Jarvan.
It's a little bit funny, but when do we never see Shen's pick up a Sunfire Cape and split push? Not hardly ever. But the thing is, I guess because Soaz is against this double AP comp and Tabs, who does true damage, percent true damage with his abilities, he's just going for that magic resist tank, build a little bit of health as well, and also be kind of like a support Shen. Because it's allowing, if you look at right now on Cyanide, he has a Hex Drinker. It's allowing him to build a little bit more damage. Just so when he does Cataclysm into the back, he can hopefully get someone down with xPeke.
And that shield that you get from the Hex Drinker as well, probably not to be underestimated when you're the one that has to jump right in on their faces, pretty much. As we are going to see turret go down. Twisted Fates on the top side there. Nuke is going to get the stun on towards Pushu. He's going to get feared away, and he's a dead man. It's Nuke that will shut down Pushu. Nice move.
He just wanted to click the Lantern. Why don't you let him click the Lantern, guys? But the CC, that just shows you they can single someone out. If that was xPeke, he would have been dead as well, but they can just single you out, they can stun you, and then while Phil6 does the CC, gold card's gonna be up yet again, so great job by them. Actually, Nuke, he's waiting for someone to come a little bit closer. Now they start sieging on this turret. We do have xPeke on the top side of the map. He's actually waiting back because he has a teleport available, and he would be able to turn this around. He doesn't have anything to teleport to behind them. That would have been perfect if he did, but unfortunately for him, he doesn't, and the Lemondogs just gonna back away.
Yeah, I see xPeke has actually added that Chalice in there now, which of course not going to be masses of damage for him still at this stage. Bit of magic resist never goes amiss though when you're up against 2 AP champions on the other side, I suppose.
Yeah, it's really... that Chalice actually surprises me a little bit. I mean, the magic resist helps, and the mana regen helps as well, but he's 4-0-6, and he doesn't have the damage to get anyone low on Lemondogs still. I'm assuming just because he needs the levels, since he did low up his Force Pulse first. So you do see Dexter getting caught a little bit here, but he should be fine.
Got xPeke right on top of him, and he will just get back there to safety thanks to Tabs being in a close enough proximity to him. So what's next up here on the board? We start to see a few wards going down by the Baron. 24 minutes in though, and really close on gold. I don't expect that Baron will be attempted by either of these teams at this point. Maybe just used as bait here, if anything, at this stage of the game. Mithy does have an Oracle on, and he, as such, will be starting to clear things out at this stage. There is an Oracle as well sitting down for Yellowstar in his backpack, which he'll no doubt get underway with here soon. If we look down towards Varus, who actually finishing off now that Phantom Dancer that we were talking about, he had the Zeal from earlier.
Yeah, so luckily for him, because he knows Fnatic's not building armor, he doesn't have to worry too much about building that Last Whisper as a big second item, so you can delay it to maybe third or even fourth and go for an eye edge. We're going to see what he's going to do here relatively soon, and I have to agree with you about Baron. I mean, no team has a super fast team at taking Baron. So there's no point in going for it. They want to keep fighting, but I think it's about Dragon. I think because that's where all the fights have been so far. I think they're going to continue to be there for a little bit longer.
Dragon has been somewhat of a magnet to both of these teams. Of course, we saw, I think it was a 5 or 6 or maybe even a longer dance for it a little bit earlier on, which in the end, funnily enough, was stolen away at max range by that piercing arrow of Tabs. Now Fnatic just making sure that they force out this middle lane. I don't want to be pushed back to that one. Of course, both teams got, or have lost, I should really say, the outer turret in that mid lane as Yellowstar is up here by Baron. But look at this, Lemondogs are actually going to position him out of this one, as we are going to see Destiny coming down. Yellowstar is going to get locked up here. It's actually the red card used by Nukeduck. He's going to get the slow of the Twin Shadows coming out as well. There is the stun card. There is Xpeke in front of him, but Yellowstar going to go down to that one. And now Lemondogs, are they going to turn for Baron? Still risky for me.
Yeah, definitely, and they're going to back away with that kill. A little bit of more gold for them. And it was a little bit weird with the red card, but they killed him nonetheless either way.
Double slows with the Twin Shadow. That's what he was going for,
yeah.
I'm going to say.
I'll agree on that one. And Xpeke still, I mean, he hasn't, I don't want to harp on it too much, but he hasn't been able to build too much damage. And you saw right there, he attacked Dexter, did pretty much nothing because he has a runic bulwark. Like, the entire team of Lemondogs right now has a lot of magic resist. You have, obviously the 2 items for Twisted Fate. You even have the Negatron Cloak and the Merc Treads out of Zora Zero. So they're definitely not going to die to any burst from Xpeke. So the only person he can go for now is Tabs, who I think at this point can still out-sustain the damage that Xpeke can do.
So there's a blue buff this time actually going away towards Zora Zero. Here is the famed dragon in this game, and actually it's going to be taken away for free. Fnatic getting that one. That's a nice pickup for them. Lemondogs nowhere near it this time around.
And Joe, I'm looking at the Lemondogs, and we mentioned it earlier how they told us they have a different play style, and so far I've been seeing it, but I'm curious if Fnatic's been holding them off long enough that they're going to kind of go back to their old ways and kind of drag the game out a little bit. They've been definitely trying to fight around Dragon a lot more, and it's been working out well for them sometimes the opposite side of that, but they're definitely looking like a new team, and the goal difference isn't really this much at this point. It's too close to tell who's going to win this game.
Well, Fnatic may be looking a little bit later as well, with the fact that he's gone in for that Chalice there first, where we maybe expected something a bit more damagey coming out of Xpeke there, which means, he'll go up to that Athene's at some point. He's got a blasting wand in right now, but it's going to be a little bit slower until he does get to that real position where Kassadin excels, which is singling out those targets.
And the thing is, we can completely understand his build too. I mean, he's against a Fiddlesticks. That right there changes your complete build order. Then you have, well, his damage on top of that double AP. So you definitely need to play a little bit more defensive here. And speaking of Mithy on Fiddlesticks, he actually goes for cooldown boots. So he doesn't have any GP10. He doesn't get any other items. Well, we haven't seen him been able to get any other items besides this, but it's actually a perfect item because he's trying to get that high CDR. Obviously more fears, more silences, and his ultimate is key because teams like to engage when they know that Fiddlesticks' ultimate is down. The CDR boots is going to help out quite a bit.
I've seen as the AD carries a couple of pickups here from that one as well. Last Whisper done for Caitlyn. Obviously had that Zeal, had the Vamp Scepter, then went in towards a pickaxe, kind of bit of here, bit of there in terms of build. On the other side, pickaxe coming in as well, which is most surely, I say most surely, going to go to that Last Whisper you'd expect rather than Infinity Edge at this point.
Yeah, I'd have to agree because now you see the Warden's Meltdown on Soaz, so you kind of have to deal with his amount of armor since he's going to be in your face. He's been taunting Tabs every opportunity he's been able to, so if he can deal with Soaz, he can deal with the rest of the team. But Soaz, I mean, his taunts have been so strong. If he can land like another 3-4-man taunt like we saw Godbro do in the Summer Promotion Tournament, then they're going to be looking pretty good. And they're still running into a slight problem where they don't have a lot of damage, but as long as this game goes on, Pushu is going to get even stronger. I mean, you mentioned the last Whisper, so anyone that has armor he can deal with. Once he gets a little bit of attack speed, maybe even a little bit of lifesteal, he's definitely going to be really hard to kill.
Right now, wards at Baron are being cleared out by Mythi's Oracle. Yellowstar has one of his own to work with to get those from the back of the Baron pit, but the fact is they've got no vision on the front side, so probably a little wary of headed straight around the corner from that one and exposing himself to a kill, which happened earlier on, let's not forget, got Destinied onto and then finished off, which is just a kill for nothing almost there for Lemondogs. So Fnatic want to make sure that that one doesn't happen again this time around, but Xpeke still amazingly strong. If you look at his kills here, 406, he's a good almost 40 CS ahead of that Twisted Fate at 10.3 to 10.4 thousand gold, so now is behind technically on that front.
That Twisted Fate passive
Good old Twisted
so
Fate
strong.
passive.
2 gold for every CS you get, so has an extra 400 gold basically in his pockets right there. And I'm looking at Fnatic, and you know, to me they've changed since the spring split. Like quite a bit. I've looked at their strategy they've been going at, and it's been about, okay, well in the spring split it was about, you know, it was about Soaz and Xpeke roaming around, picking off people left and right. Now it's kind of roamed around into more team fighting, and they go more towards the team fight potential of a composition, and it hasn't been working out that well for Fnatic just yet, but I want to see if this one's going to work out. Twisted Fate Ultimate comes out, but pretty sure that's just revision.
Yeah, he's actually just going to
over the
go back to the Wraith Wall. Why not? You've already popped it, you might as well travel around with it, I suppose, there for Nuke Duck. Moving up towards his Zhonya's here, already got that Seeker's Arm Guard built up from earlier. And right now, it's just a ward battle going on half an hour in.
They all want control, the vision control of that Baron, but this is going to be a problem for Lemondogs because Xpeke, he has teleport available, he's casted, he can roam around very quickly. And he's also going to just proc the Baron, just do some damage to them.
He looks really in pain when you hook the Baron, like pulls his head backwards over the back.
He has like 3 heads, so you could probably hit him in the eye or something, that would hurt.
One of his many eyes.
Yeah, one of his many.
Either way, pulls him back. Kassadin, as you said, that's something that we were more used to seeing from Fnatic in the last split.
Exactly.
The likes of a Kassadin and Twisted Fate, whatever, get it in there. That's a good silence on towards Soaz. We'll stop him going in as Dex are going to flash away from the knockup out of Jarvan, and really getting away from that one perfectly. Just, okay, a flash burnt in there, but the fact is that silence can stop the Shen taunt coming in, which is a massive factor.
Yes, it is. And luckily for Soaz, he has Broke Treads, though, so it won't be as bad. But right now, Lemondogs, they need some sort of reaction to this. They need some sort of plan to deal with Xpeke, who's just split pushing. He has a lot of CS, considering he's up against a Twisted Fate, which is usually... well, it's not usual, I'll say that, for a casting to be ahead, but they do engage on Yellowstar.
He's going to get caught out once again. He's a dead man. He got the box down just before he died, but he will once again fall. That bottom turret did go down there. It's an ace in the hole, blocked by Zoro0, who's right now with that Spirit Visage, one of the tankier members of the team. Here comes Fiddlesticks over the side. Pushu is going to die. It's Tabs that snipes that one off with the piercing arrow once again. They use a lot of ultimates there, Lemondogs, but kill's a kill.
And it was all due to that word control that they've been fighting for this entire time. Now Lemondogs, they're going to go for a push middle, and honestly, with what Fnatic has available, they don't have wave clear, they don't have enough damage. Lemondogs should be able to pick up this turret for free.
It's still pretty healthy here, but as you said, Jarvan, what can he really do here? He's going to get silenced or feared by the time he comes in, and in the end, that's a free turret. I say a free turret, they've obviously earned it with those kills coming in earlier on, but there was nothing Fnatic could do. Peke was on the bottom side of the river there and couldn't really get into a position without having to recall, and he does have those home guards now, got that Athene's Unholy Grail finish. This looks like Lemondogs are going to go for another dragon.
And he made a really good point after that fight happened, was Lemondogs used a lot of ultimates to lock him down. I mean, obviously in the end it works out for you, but if they need that every time to kill someone Fnatic, it's not really a good sign.
You can see that Xpeke, on the other hand, is starting to get a lot more confident. You see that in his positioning alone on the map, going down to that bottom lane there, going over to steal that blue buff, knowing that it's going to be clear out for him. And they've actually got full vision here on Baron. Lemondogs have got none, which probably tells you that they're going to be hanging around for that here. In fact, the Destiny was used there by Nuke Duck just to make sure that Fnatic weren't trying to sneak it in.
I'm waiting for him to go to Wolves right now, just to get over the wall. But yeah, Xpeke, he's at home split pushing, and I mean, it works out so well for them. Every single time he ever plays a champion, they can do this. But Fnatic, just like I said, the control was for Lemondogs. Now Fnatic completely have control over this Baron. And the thing is, they don't have the damage to kill Baron, so I don't really think Lemondogs are worried about it being taken away from them. It's more just a bait. They want to fight
it here. Fnatic are going to start off the Baron right now. Becky gets hit with a Q from Dexter over the wall. That was blind. That Baron, tell you what, still does a lot of damage at this point, especially to the likes of Yellowstar, who has to actually stay out of that one, as we are going to see the Twin Shadows come down. Are they going to lock in? Yes, they are going for Yellowstar. He's taking a lot of damage here from Tabs, who gets an easy kill. He's now on a killing spree. Xpeke going to be chasing down after Dexter as he does riff walk in for that one. He's now unstoppable. Well, that leaves Lemondogs here. They've got the Thresh out of things. They've lost their Lee Sin, which is the smite, if nothing else, at this point.
Yes, that's exactly the key point. Now they know, or Fnatic knows, that they could potentially go for Baron if they wanted, but they have the ward control still yet again. They know where Lemondogs are, and they might be able to make another flash taunt out of Soaz.
Oh, Soaz could taunt them up here. He could also get feared, silenced, and destroyed if he's not careful about it. In the end, Lemondogs don't face check in there. It's going to allow Yellowstar to spawn back in the map. He's Zero getting close to face checking. So has actually revealed himself from that one. And Fnatic right now doing good damage on towards that inner turret. But it looks like Lemondogs might want to try and close in the one on this one. The piercing arrow will land there on towards Xpeke. They've got a ward in the tri-bush. But it's not easy to lock down a Shen and a Kassadin, who shadow dash and riff walk away in towards safety.
We do see a couple more items coming in. We have a Spirit Visage done for Zero for that magic resist on Xpeke, also the extra healing with that ultimate. But one thing I just noticed was Yellowstar, he's 1 in 8. And it's kind of a thing where, I mean, it's support. A score like that is not terrible, but this is like his debut as support. And we obviously know from the rumors when he was playing solo queue from his match history, did extremely well, did well in the game previously. But he's been caught out twice now. That could have potentially cost them Baron.
Three times, actually.
3 times. Okay, so, and Fnatic might have been able to, well, luckily for Fnatic, they were able to kill someone off the other team and pretty much nullify that from happening. But as a support, you don't want to cost your team something like that, especially this late in the game.
Now we see Soaz just down on that bottom lane clearing out. I want the minions to be doing the job here for Lemondogs. But they are going to take that advantage and say thank you very much. We'll have turret number 4 thanks to that outer top turret. We're all tied here on turrets, 15-12 in kills. Gold lead, honestly, is not that big for almost a 40-minute game.
And it's kind of shown in the items as well, because both teams very equal in items. And you can, and that just shows, like, it's shown from how hesitant both teams are to fight each other head-to-head. Both teams don't want to lose a major team fight here, because with the long respawn timers, that's going to be Baron. Possibly an inhibitor for Lemondogs, since they already have the 2 middle turrets down.
So, I feel like I've said this about 300 times now. Oracles on Mithy. And he's going to be clearing out the Baron pit, even with a pink ward there. Leave that one down, why not? But any vision is a help to them right now. Yellowstar, I think, he wants to get in there and clear out, but his team is saying, Yellowstar, don't get caught.
Well, and that's, I mean, you can look at the other side of that, of Lemondogs taking advantage of him playing support, getting him out of position, constantly killing him. I mean, there's 2 sides to that coin, and the pink ward that went down at Baron's actually, it's a very smart ward when you need to roam around, pick up other ward kills as support, because it shows whenever a ward's going to be put down there, so you know ahead of time and are able to get in there clear. Not to mention anyone else in your team can take it down.
So we get to a bit more of a stalemate position. Once again, there's a lot of pings going down on this top side. As Lee Sin was spotted, as would have been Varus there coming over. There is another deep ward down by Lemondogs. They're going to try and push this top lane out even further. I think they'll be able to take it down at this point. We are seeing Shen now. I talked about Soaz. He cleared their inner turret on the bottom, and now he's pushing it all the way down towards that inhibitor turret. It's Nuke Dog going to take a blast from Xpeke, and he's starting to hurt now.
Yes, he is. I mean, the Saracen Brace is really helping out, not to mention the Nice Large Rod that he has been able to pick up. And like I mentioned before, Lemondogs, they have to have an answer to all this split pushing. Answer last time was to kill Yellowstar. But this time, I mean, I don't know if they're going to be that lucky for that to happen. And having a Shen who can get to the team for a fight, having a teleport on Chassin to get to the fight, it's not really easy. It's like if he wants to go in for it, he's got to be very careful.
And needs to be careful as the Shen taunt apparently did land that down at the bottom side. It was finished off by Kassadin as they keep going in. Actually, kick on towards Cyanide. He's going to go down towards the back of things. Manages to survive from that. So that's a 1-for-0 right now for Fnatic.
He's Lee Sin, he's helping Joe.
He's helping.
He's kicking him away, but with the support down, that means the Oracle's gone, and that means they could potentially go for Baron off of that, though Cyanide was very low. And you see, actually, a boot enchant picked up for Myth. He went for Distortion for his flash to be off cooldown a lot quicker, so he can obviously flash in there with his ultimate a little bit more, mixed in with the cooldown reduction for it. But he's building Fiddlesticks a little bit different than we see him too often.
Well, as much as we can say with 3 items in there, we certainly don't see that distortion.
Exactly. I'm trying to think back to Darker in week 1 when he played Fiddlesticks. I don't remember the items he actually went for, but I think he actually went for a little bit of AP, but I can't remember fully.
Well, we have seen some pretty successful Fiddlestick supports, that's for sure. We are going to see Fnatic back away from this one once again, and the ward battle commences. There's more wards down than your average hospital at this stage.
I think more wards have been killed than people in this game.
I think you're definitely right with that one. I mean, 28 deaths or kills. I'll spin that on the positive light. But there's definitely been a lot more wards taken down than that one. We do see now finally a Rabadon's death cap being picked up by Expect. He was still 6-0-6. He's still to die in this one. So he's worth a good chunk of gold at this point, which Fnatic are going to be... now, he obviously has a bigger target on his head when he's at that stage of the game.
Yes, he does. And it's all about Mythy being able to land CC on him. But the thing is, Fnatic's not letting team fights happen. Specky's split pushing, has teleport available, and I think he actually finally has the damage he needs to kill anyone that goes head-to-head against him, or at least escape. So that means Lemondogs, they have to have an answer really soon. They can't let this keep happening. I know I mentioned it a couple times before, 3 or 4 times, but they have to do something here to stop that, and I don't think 0-0 can really battle him out here.
On the other side, Twisted Fate, we should mention, has a Rabadon's and the Zhonya's now finished up. Now, that's going to be Nukeduck being certainly a lot stronger than he was just a few moments ago. Looks like we're going to see a second Randuin's actually coming in here for Cyanide. Got the main workings of that one already complete. We've seen a Quicksilver Sash picked up as well for Pushu.
So many wards coming out. I really wish we had like a stat to show how many wards have gone out, but they do get the Fear on a Yellow Star. He's been caught out, like you said, 3 times.
The Fear actually got him out of the piercing arrow.
Like you mentioned. Like, Fear can either help you out or screw you over. And luckily for him, it helped him out that time.
Helps him out. Good old Fiddlesticks getting up in your face. Which I think that skin, by the way, is one of the more annoying Fiddlesticks to be feared or silenced
One of the most obnoxious ones.
Well, right now we are going to be seeing Expeke in the bottom left. He's actually pushing in on towards that inhibitor turret. He's going to spot here that Ryze is coming down, and we are going to see that fight kicking off. Have they got the damage? As Shen is going to come around this bottom side. Let's see if they can actually get onto anyone to lock them up. There is Expeke going pretty deep from that one. He calls it back. Soa's going to get slowed down by the Twin Shadows. He should be tanky enough, though, to escape this one. He's got that Spirit Visage in there as well now to really help out.
And in the meantime, Lemondogs were trying to respond by going for a 3-on-3 fight over towards the top side of the map, but weren't able to. Fnatic was able to run away, and in the end, no kills being traded, and the team's just going to back away again.
So, a teleport coming in from Expeke on towards Nukeduck, who actually is going to use the Zhonya's here. Flashes away to the side, and he might be able to escape from this one. Or not, he's a dead man, but Expeke taking a lot of damage. He goes off towards the Lantern. Dexter is going to have to flash himself away. Cyanide right now chasing down 0-0. Going to use that Cataclysm. Pushu going to cleanse himself. That's a lie. It's a Quicksilver Sash out of that Fear that came in onto him. There is the Chain of Corruption. The Snipe comes around. He's just about hanging on to this one. He gets feared again. Tabs gets that kill. Yellow Star will pay the price as well. And that will be a 2-for-1 here for the Lemondogs.
And another crazy fight on top of that. I was waiting for you to say that one. But you saw, like, Fnatic got the engage they wanted to. You saw Expect a teleport in. As you see, getting feared right here. Mythic getting very low. Look at the damage that Tabs is doing.
Not quite able as he goes for the snipe. Switches his aim over towards Soaz for that one. I think he might have had the range for Expeke there as well. And they're able to take him off in the end, but that one doesn't happen. We've got some more items to go over now as everyone's gone back to shopping. Void Staff and a Chain Vest now coming out in here for Ryze. The Baron is, though, started off here by Lemondogs. They're pretty low, though, so this might not continue.
I was going to say, we've always praised Cyanide as having one of the best abilities to steal away objectives, but Lemondogs, they don't want to throw the game. Like, they're up in kills, they're up in gold, but I guarantee to them it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, that certainly is the way that it's looking in this game right now. Neither team's wanting to make such a clear engagement for Fnatic. It's been, you know, we saw it there, Expeke trying to get in and single out one man of the team, which you have to give credit to Nukeduck. He's done a good job of actually avoiding that one, using that Zhonya's to its full potential, then flashing away from the rest of the damage. Right now, Fnatic going to settle for, I guess, next best when it comes to picking up gold right now, which is taking down that dragon.
Yep, and they're going to get 1,000 gold off of that. So I'm trying to think is that if I were in their position, like I wish we had a pro here to talk to about this, but fatigue, when does that come in for you? Because it's been a very still game for the past 20, 25 minutes. So at what point do you get tired? What point do you get fed up and want to fight?
And that can, I think, happen more in these two teams right now because of those lineup changes, that someone gets itchy fingers, so to speak, or they make a bad call that's, or a good call even, that's not followed right as Cyanide here. Gonna get hit with that Lee Sin Q, actually will get himself away as the hook will land onto Mithy through the wall. They've not quite got the damage to follow that one up. Expeke, you saw him kind of twitching back and forth. Should I go in, should I not? In the end, decides not to go in, and Baron's gonna be started here by Lemondogs. But again, you have to feel they're gonna back off.
Look how fast it's gone down though. It's already under half at 5,000 life. They might be able to pick this up.
Cyanide is actually waiting on the top side of it here. It's going very, very low. Fnatic have got vision of it. Cyanide is gonna go in, but it is gonna be Lemondogs that pick up the dragon, but Expeke is off to the side here. They're trying to get in. Another great cataclysm comes down. They're falling very low in this. Nukeduck gonna use his Zhonya's, but that's just gonna prolong things here. He'll surely get chased down and finished off. And so as Flash is over, Destiny won't happen, and that will be a Baron for Lemondogs, but they've been aced for only 1 kill.
And looking at that fight, the Cataclysm was fantastic out of Cyanide, but unfortunately for Tabs, he missed his ultimate. He didn't hit anyone with it, and I think that fight actually would have went in Lemondogs' favor if he did land that. But finally, the breaking point in the game, someone makes a play on Lemondogs' side, able to pick up the Baron, but Fnatic just wow, like just the whole combo they pulled off, the Cataclysm, the taunts, Pushu not even affected at all in the fight. And they might be able to get, actually they should be able to get Inhibitor off of this, definitely.
Yeah. We've got Mithy coming up in 7 seconds, but he's the only one literally that's close to spawning right now. And I tell you what, Fnatic, they may try and continue to push through with this one, although the way this game's gone up to now, I think more of the conservative path forward is the way for them. And of course, that conservative path forward is back.
And I just realized that Mithy didn't ult in that fight. So if his ult actually went off as well, I'm pretty sure Lemondogs would have won that fight, but because they're being engaged upon like that and Mithy wasn't in a position, he wasn't able to get that off, they ended up losing the fight and losing Inhibitor. And now, I mean, this is Fnatic's game to control in terms of mid lane's going to constantly push, so they can split push bottom, split push top. It's just all up to them.
Well, that Baron buff certainly didn't last long for the Lemondogs. It was just a case of gold, which actually ends up going against them after that, after you know, losing out in that ace afterwards. Expeke did, by the way, finally die in that exchange. He's now 919. A very scary Kassadin, there's no doubt about that. Void Staff now added into his, and he's at 6 items.
Yes, he is, and it's just all about how he gets in and out of fights. And also Pushu, he's not a pushover at all, because look what he currently has. The IE, the Bloodthirster, the Fandancer, and the Last Whisper mixed in with the Quicksilver Slash. You can't really lock him down. He hurts really bad, not to mention the range he's going to have.
I know you've been saving that one up for quite a while.
I swear, that one just came off the top of my head, I swear.
But you're right in what you're saying, that's for sure. We saw it earlier on in that fight, how big that Quicksilver Sash can be for him. When I thought he had a cleanse, realized he doesn't have cleanse, he's just picked up that Quicksilver Sash in there. Right now, Fnatic starting to get a bit of vision down on that Lemondogs side of the jungle, something that they were lacking a little bit earlier on, and I'm sure that Lemondogs are going to try and force that back here with that Oracle number 487 that Mithy has now picked up in this game. We're approaching the 50-minute mark, and we saw what can happen after an ace in that last encounter where you lose a lot if you go down.
Definitely, and this might be the actual engage that Lemondogs might want, because they have that Fiddlesticks able to get in with an ultimate, though. Expeke, he's split pushing. You have to deal with him right now. Nukeduck's the person to do that. And I have to say that Expeke would win that trade in the end, not to mention you have Soaz's ultimate if he needs it to help him out. And it's going to be Zhonya battle versus Zhonya battle here at bottom.
Yeah, we saw Kassadin actually selling that Athene's Unholy Grail earlier on and managed to pick that one up. We can see the Fnatic right now are pushing themselves in on towards this top inhibitor turret, but Lemondogs there, able to clear that one out quick enough. And you have to feel that it's going to be about a Baron 2 at least for this game.
I would have to agree, definitely. And the thing is, both teams have the damage to kill Baron very quickly. So if you're not in the right position at that moment, if you're bot lane doing something, the other team's gonna take Baron on you instantly. But we do have the bottom inhibitor actually open. It can be taken if Fnatic just wants to group up down there and take it away. And the thing is, fighting in a base like this when there's no walls, it makes it so seeing Mithy's ultimate come in is a lot easier and a lot easier to interrupt.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's kind of nice as well for the likes of Shen, of pretty much everyone. I mean, in fact, everyone on the Fnatic team can get through that wall. If Thresh lands a hook, he obviously needs to land that one first of all, but the rest of them can get through with just the abilities, which is quite a scary prospect to think if you don't have a ward at the other side of the wall, 5 men can jump straight on top of you. Xpeke is doing what has become known as an Xpeke these days. He's actually down on that inhibitor in the bottom lane and actually may be able to take this one away. I can't quite see it there in the bottom left, but it was certainly very close as Fnatic here pushing in towards the top inhibitor turret as well. The hook not quite landing there for Yellow Star on towards Dexter, and here comes Mithy over the top. Quicksilver Sash use. Fnatic gonna go hell for leather on this fight. The box goes down. There's a 4-man Cataclysm. They're in a lot of trouble now here. Lemondogs. Xpeke comes in from the side. He'll have to back away, but he'll surely join back in. He gets silenced out, but the hook will land on towards Dexter. Xpeke is gonna use that Zhonya's. And here comes Ace in the hole as well. Zoro going very low, but no one actually dying from that fight.
These fights are so hectic, and you saw an amazing taunt come out of Soaz right there to lock down Tab, so you couldn't do a lot of free damage, but then you also saw just how much pure damage both teams have if you're out of place 1 little millimeter. Actually, do you guys use millimeters in your...
We do.
Okay, good. Whew. I was like, wait, is that even right? But anyways, I made myself look so stupid with that comment. But
no comment.
But if you're out of position, you're gonna get blown up right away, and looking for Pushu, he has that range to not be affected by it. And you also saw he popped the QSS right when he got feared, and then you saw the Shen ultimate come in on top of that.
Yeah. Nicely timed from both teams, and just showing that this game is still very, very close. One thing that's going to be a worry now for Lemondogs is that that inhibitor in the bottom lane is down. That means they need, while they now have time, they need to push that back as far as they possibly can, because the last inhibitor open is the top lane, and with those super minions coming in, it makes it all that easier.
And on top of that, Baron will be up in 50 seconds, so if they don't push those lanes out, just like you said, it's a free Baron for Fnatic. Either way, right now, with 2 inhibitors being down, well, actually currently 1 since the middle did respawn, it pretty much is Fnatic's show. Like, they can just ward up, use the, was it 488th Oracle, and clear all the wards, and then just force Lemondogs to engage upon them. Though, obviously, Nukta has his ultimate available to really give the vision. It's only going to be once.
Only going to be once. Xpeke is actually waiting here to get involved. Down on that bottom lane. Does have that teleport available. You can see him just sniffing around to see if anything's going on. As soon as they... In fact, they've got vision of the entire Lemondogs team. There was actually all that ward down there, so they know where the Lemondogs are right now. Xpeke is still inside of the Lemondogs jungle on that bottom side. It's a real tense moment in this game.
I almost thought Lemondogs were just going to rush down middle and go for that turret and the inhibitor. But it was just to get a little bit of vision as far as they can, as deep as they can. Baron has respawned. Fnatic has started here. And Lemondogs luckily have Twist of Fate to spot that one. Actually, it was him just trying to get away. He's going to die.
He is a dead man. There's no doubt about that. Actually did a decent amount of damage there onto Xpeke, but he's just going to keep pushing now. He's going to push those super minions through. He's got that teleport up, and there is the teleport coming in. Where's he going to go with it, though? Actually, he's not. He's recalling. I'm telling a lie.
He's going to teleport back into this fight.
He's going to go straight back home, heal up, and then teleport into the fight as well, which is even better for Fnatic at this stage. This inhibitor is going to be shredded down, and they'll move topside.
Lemondogs, I mean, you have 50 seconds on Nuked Up. This inhibitor turret's going to go down unless you fight a 4-on-5, which obviously is not what you want. We do see the teleport coming in.
They've gone in on towards Soaz there, and they've used a lot on him, but he doesn't really take much damage at this point as the ace in the hole is going to go flying through the pack. Turret goes down. This is inhibitor surely number 3. The silence will come through, but that's not going to stop Fnatic. And they are now in a massive position to win this game. But don't forget, Baron had spawned, it had been started but not finished, and Fnatic are going to back away. Better safe than sorry.
And with 3 inhibitors down, Lemondogs either have to go and fight this, or Dexter's going to die.
And they hook it, but they've just landed everything onto him there. Chain of Corruption came down. Tab's going to have to flash away from that one, but Xpeke's not done just yet. Here comes Shen into it as well. Great fear coming out, but it won't fear Soaz. Tabs is going to die in this one. He is still alive. He's done a lot of damage in there. Zoro0, their next target of focus for this one. He picks up another kill before he goes down. Here he's nuked up from the side. Wild cards going to be doing good damage to Fnatic, and that's actually a 3-on-2 for Fnatic, but they're very low here. And with those twin shadows coming out, are they going to be able to follow up? Destiny is actually coming off cooldown here soon, but the super minions are pushing through into the base. Lemondogs need to go down and deal with them quickly.
And with one Nexus turret going down, I mean, Lemondogs, they don't really have the people they need to clear these waves out very quickly. And
Fnatic are coming.
Yeah, they're going to go finish this.
Fnatic are coming in for this one. They think that they can have this one away, as we are going to see Destiny use Twisted Fate going to come around the side. They pile in onto him. He will pop the Zhonya's. Miffy, the next focus from this one. He will die. There is Twisted Fate going down as well. And now with 10 seconds for Lee Sin, this is going to be the finisher. Fnatic able, after a 55-minute game, to take down Lemondogs. A big slugfest, a match which up until the last moments could have really gone either way, but Fnatic showing some real experience there once they get into that driver's seat, Jason, to really grind the pressure out and stop Lemondogs being able to push out and really equalize up the game.
Definitely, and look how exhausted they look. I mean, they look so tired, so mentally drained after that game. Lemondogs pushed them to their brink. They did come out ahead, and obviously, obviously we talked about earlier, both teams can't come out with a win from this one, obviously. So a team, I don't even know where I'm going with this. Joe, take it away.
It was a long, long game, 55 minutes almost. And as you said, mentally draining on all these players. If you look down the scores here at the end, 10-4-10 for Pushu on Caitlyn. Yellow, sorry, died 10 times there with Thresh, which is a lot of times to die, considering his kill came at the first level. It was like first blood coming in there.
Yes, it was.
13 assists, some great hooks in there. And Fnatic just as a team, just showing their character, showing their experience, but also at the same time showing that they are not unbeatable right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely true. I mean, especially when you have a roster change, you're never unbeatable if a team can take advantage of that lane, which Lemondogs they did for a good portion. Like you said, Yellowstar 10 deaths. And fortunately for them, they could kill him, but they couldn't stop Expected from split pushing, so then they had to back away. They couldn't take an objective right after that, and that was the story of the game. You can win a fight, but if you can't take objectives, it doesn't really matter.
Another thing that they obviously struggle a hell of a lot with was that Kassadin. I mean, pushing that bottom lane out constantly. I mean, a Kassadin in that position is annoying anyway, but a Kassadin with teleport on as well means that it's very hard to stop him actually doing what we saw being done there by Xpeke. He got up to 420 farm by the end of it. He was at 11-11 by the time that game had finished. So now Xpeke, even though he got that slower start, he went a slower build in terms of how quickly he was able to put out the damage. In the end, he was in a position that really made him too difficult to deal with.
Yeah, that's like the exact point that I wanted to make as well, is that Xpeke, he was 4-0-3, I believe, relatively early on in the game, but he didn't have much damage behind that. Lemondogs noticed that they started to force some objectives, but because of the slow build he went with the Chalice into Athene's and Holy Grail, he was able to split push constantly and get a lot of farm, which in the end gave him his 6-item build, and he was very hard to deal with in the late game. Not to mention Soaz, his taunts, just, oh man, gives you the chills when you watch him.
The funny thing is, when we talked about that in the early game, he actually missed one of the very few that he actually missed during that game. And you know, the big 3 or sometimes 4-man taunt, Cyanide with the Cataclysm was really on point in this game. I mean, landing 3 or 4 men into pretty much every single one that he'd put in there, especially in that late game. Just an overall very solid performance by Fnatic. A little bit shaky, which is why it lended to that 55-minute game rather than maybe a 35 to 40-minute game in the end. But better to be slow and steady than to end up throwing it away.
True. And I don't know if the shakiness was due to the new roster change for Fnatic or if it was just them being shaky in general, because it wasn't about Yellowstar playing support. It wasn't about Pushu playing AD carry. It was just about their whole composition. They didn't really want to go for a fight that they, like you said, could lose. They just want to take it slow, take it steady, and win the race.
No, but it puts them at 2-0 for today, which is what they were aiming for, of course, when these big changes came in. There's no doubt that this change, if you count out the whole Ninjas in Pajamas thing, since that was last week, and we've already talked about that one, but this change for Fnatic here was the big news of the week, and showing once again that you can really make those big changes and still come out on top after a week.
And not to mention, speaking of coming up on top, they're 4th place now, solidly? Are we still making up words? They're solidly.
Well, that's a real word.
Okay.
I think you just made up the position.
All right, I probably did. But they're at 4th place now, and Lemondogs dropped to 5th, and we still have, I think, a 2-way tie for 6th place now. So, I mean, the standings still can be jumbled either way. We have 12 games total. We have 7 more to go, 1 today, 6 tomorrow. So anything can really happen in the standings, and for that, they're going to have to come back tomorrow a little bit less shaky, a little bit more solid as a team.
Well, we of course do have 1 more game to go, so don't go anywhere. But for now, we're going to head over to Shox, who is waiting with Cyanide for an interview.
Thanks very much, Joe. Yes, Ina, congratulations on that victory. Very slow-paced game as it came to the end of that game, and they kept picking off your players. Did you have all the confidence in the world that the Kassadin that was growing could finish it off, or?
We kind of miscommunicated. Like, we thought Becker would be able to TP in time and kill them all if they go on yellow, but he just died like 3 times, like insta-died, and yeah, it was really bad from us to do that.
All right, but you did pull through in the end. Playing against a Fiddlestick support, it's kind of getting a resurgence. How annoying is it to play against? Because of course it adds that AP to the other team, plus the ult that can be so destructive.
Fiddle is kind of hit or miss. He's really low range. So, but if he really gets in with the Crow Storm and gets to silence everyone and fear the AD or whatever, he's very strong. But sometimes you can just pick him off and one-shot him. So he's kind of like, it's very unsafe, but if you can pull it off, it's really good.
And you guys did very well against him. Now, of course, tomorrow you'll be up against Team Alternate, who suffered a loss today, but nevertheless a very strong team. Do you think with this lineup is rotated enough to take Alternate down as well?
Lucky for us, Alternate will be playing with a sub, who I don't think is a bad player, but they will, of course, lack some team play. So I think tomorrow we can beat them if we play like we did today in the first game, and not like in the second game.
All right, thank you very much, Cyanide, and good luck tomorrow. Yeah.